are the 5 most common misconceptions or limiting beliefs, as I like to call them, that I find when someone reaches out to me looking to buy or sell, and they're kind of like looking for guidance, someone to talk to, and they're on the ledge. What's up? If we haven't met, my name is kristinaalexa. I'm a full-time real estate agent here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. I service sellers, buyers, and if you're looking to lease a property, I can also help you out. This is my best way to reach me here. You can also DM me on Instagram. Let's get into it. The first one, I actually really hope that you've heard about this one. It's a little frustrating that there's like a huge rumor or misconception going around it. And the first one is that you need 20% down to buy a house. And you need a certain amount of cash. You either need 20% or $20,000, I hear a lot. And I'm not really sure where this comes from. This is not the case at all. You can buy a property with as little as 3.5% down, 3.5% of the purchase price, that is. And then at the same time, people I know who are like, oh, I'm saving up to buy. But if you haven't reached out to me and got in touch with a lender, then how do you know how much to save up for, right? The down payment is something that you actually need clarity on far before you get started, because the down payment is solely dependent on the amount that you're approved for the loan amount. And then you knowing that you also qualify for the 3.5% down. And another thing is, I always tell people, you can buy a house if you have cash or you have access to someone who does have cash. Because in some cases, in the state of Nevada I'm speaking about, you are allowed to receive a gift. So if your parents want to give you a gift, if your aunt, if your significant other, something like that wants to gift you the down payment, there's a certain process we have to go through and some paperwork we have to fill out to do that legally, but they're allowed to give you a gift. So just a reminder, the 3 major things that you need to buy a house are a credit score. It's the 600s and above. I can go as low as 420, but it's just not going to be as preferable loan amount. So 600s, preferably closer to 650 and above is where you want to be. You want to have 2 years of work history of employment, and then you want to have cash for your down payment or access to someone who does. For example, myself. Me buying a house, if I only have $3,000, well, guess what? The seller is going to have a bunch of cash upon the sale, and I have access to the seller. And I also have access to my father, who's willing to give me some of that down. I also have access to my fiance, who's willing to give me some down. Do you see where I'm going here? So the mythbuster number 1, you do not need 20% down, and you do not need a whole bunch of cash to buy a house. We can figure out how to raise some funds for you. I've done it before, and I will do it again. There's no problems in this industry, only solutions. The next common misconception I have presented to me all the time is that it's a huge commitment to buy. It's this huge deal to buy. And I understand 100% that it could be the case. Buying a house is a huge deal. It's the most expensive thing most people will purchase in their entire lifetime for them and their families, I do understand that it's a huge event, but it's not as big as a lot of people make it out to seem. What I mean by that is let's say that you're saving up to buy a house and you're nervous because you're like, oh, I don't know, I want to love it, I want this to be my thing, I want to make sure I love it, and I don't know. Well, let's be honest, you don't know because you've never done it before in most cases, or you're just not familiar with the area you're buying a house in. So you might be confusing that fear of the unknown and putting the band-aid over oh, it's the fact that I'm buying a house in the first place that makes me scared and nervous and anxious. The first house you're gonna buy, statistically, you're most likely gonna sell in the next 10 years. So it is not I'm buying this and that's it, I'm signing my life away, nothing, no go backs, nothing. I promise you, you're statistically, you are going to sell, realize you loved it for the first 3 years, and then see another house that's bigger and badder, and you make more money and stuff like that, and you put yourself in good positions, and you like stuff better in this other property, and you're gonna sell, and you're gonna lose emotional attachment to it when you get your next house that's bigger and better. So do not believe into the weird false reality of the fear mongering that buying your house is an end all be all. It's really not the case. It's just like buying a car. You're gonna buy the car, love it, use it, and then you're gonna buy another car and love it and use it. The third common misconception I see people have when buying a house is that you have to be a U.S. citizen to buy property in the United States, and that is completely false. You do not have to be a U.S. citizen to qualify for the mortgage home loan that you need to buy the property. And if you're buying cash, you do not need to buy a U.S. citizen. I've had clients from China, from Mexico, from El Salvador, from every single Latin country, and I love my Hispanic community. I've helped them buy a house. And all you do need is your ITIN number, your TIN number, whatever you want to call it, and you will be good to go. If you're coming from any of the other countries, it's going to be the same thing. And there's tons of programs that help you, non-citizens actually, with getting into a home and getting some assistance, some down payment assistance and things like that. So all you need is your ITIN, and then everything else I just said. So your 2 years work history, your credit score, and then your cash or access to someone who does have cash. Do not worry at all. Like, you are allowed to buy real estate up and down all day in the United States. Next, I hear this at every single stage of the market. It's like beating a dead horse. I'm like, oh my gosh. Is it a good time to buy? It's not a good time to buy. Someone said it's not a good time to buy. I will say this, and I've always said this since the beginning of time. It is only a good time to buy when you yourself and your financial circumstances say so. So if, like, for example, right now, it's a good time to buy for me because I've set myself up in certain financial circumstances where it is. Maybe a year from now, when I buy a car and other things come on my plate, it won't be a good time to buy because I have other obligations, if that makes sense. So the market, what the housing market is doing, it really truly at the end of the day doesn't matter, because there are deals to be found in every single market. Whether it's a booming red hot sellers market, a booming red hot buyers market, somewhere in between, or a little bit to the sellers, a little bit to the buyers, it literally doesn't matter. If you yourself are ready and in certain circumstances, available to buy a house, if it's a good time for you, is a question that I want you to ask. Not, is it a good time to buy? Well, is it a good time for you and your family and your next 5-year plan and things that are going to be affected by owning a home is the thing. My dream would be for nobody ever to ask me again, is it a good time to buy? Because I always hit them back with, is it a good time for you to buy? Is all that matters. Cut out the noise, look within, analyze your stuff, and you'll be good to go. Buyers have this misconception, limiting belief in their mind, that they have to have no debt or little to no debt to be able to buy. That is absolutely not the case. 99% of people in this country have debt. Not all debt is bad. In fact, in Nevada, I will only speak for Nevada, when you are applying for a mortgage loan, they don't even look at medical bills. So if you have a ton of medical bills from, whatever happened to you, they're not even going to look at any of those debts. Right now for student loans, they're only looking at the debts, either a small percentage of them or what your monthly payment amount is. So let's say you have like 50 grand in student loan debt and you're like, oh, I don't know if I could buy, that's a lot, that's going to inhibit me. They're not looking at you and saying, she has 50 grand on her head. They're looking at you and saying, her payment every month is $150. Okay, cool. Allocate for that amount, right? They are going to look at, some debts are bad debts. If there are debts that are bringing down your credit score, if there are debts that are late and have a penalty on your credit score, the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to look at that because you would be considered an at-risk borrower. But if you're good to go and you're paying your credit cards every month and you're, paying all your bills every month, you don't have any marks on your credit, debt is fine. That's completely fine. In some cases, you are going to want to pay some of your debts down, and that is something that myself and my preferred lenders will tell you when you meet with us. Like, hey, this one right here, this is the exact one that's dinging you. If you go and pay this bill, we're going to get you pre-approved for even more. That is clarity. That information alone is so vital for your home buying process. So do not think that you have to have a debt-free life to be able to buy a house. This is America. Everyone works with everyone. Okay, so I hope your limiting beliefs are now dissolved away and you're ready to buy a house. And in that case, this is my information here. You can reach out to me and we'll set up a buyer consultation. It'll be a quick 15-minute phone call. I do specialize in relocation. I sell in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm also able to connect you with real estate agents in all 50 states. I would love for you to email me, send me a message on Instagram, and let's get started. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on my next video.